I am so happy that series is not on the nights so far of the Suns Pelicans series, and that I can watch it in the games, because I'm really enjoying taking in this series. I think Bontemps, I think you've been working, because for some reason Philadelphia Toronto is on the same nights.
I was able to watch all of game one uninterrupted on Easter Sunday. And last night I was watching game two while also watching the game I was at here in Toronto at the same time. Fortunately, it started an hour earlier, so it sort of lined up where the end of the game basically happened during halftime. So I was able to sort of watch both, but it was not easy.
So
you're a talented young man.
I try.
I don't think it was ever discussed on this podcast. It was discussed, but I don't think we ever advocated for it. I know I didn't, but there was a time this year where people were talking about whether or not the Celtics should consider breaking up Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. And seeing this series where Kevin Durant, and it's only 2 games, it doesn't define the series, but seeing how much trouble Kevin Durant is having dealing with the size and depth of the Boston wing defense. The concept of ever breaking these guys up now seems just like pure folly. And we talked a lot, and Bontemps, you've been at so many Celtics games this year. They obviously had great defense throughout the season. This game plan, combined with this personnel, combined with the shortcomings of what Brooklyn has, is resulting in a perfect storm of defense that we've never seen deployed against Durant in his 15-year career.
Yeah, I mean, look, like you said, this is a lot of things coming together all at once. Go back to November when I wrote the big story about the Celtics kind of being a mess at the beginning of the season. And since then, they've fixed basically all the things that were a problem there. They got rid of a lot of, frankly, bad players. They replaced them with guys like Derek White and Daniel Tice, who fit exactly how they want to play. They've gotten much better at moving the ball around on offense. We saw in game one, that play in the final 10 seconds of the game when Jaylen kicked it to Marcus, who kicked it to Jayson Tatum for a layup. That's not a play that the Celtics would have made in December. That's a play they made once they all kind of bought into this way they're going to play. And you go back and, even go back to last summer, trading for Al Horford, moving out Kemba Walker, giving up a first-round pick, bringing in Al Horford. All these things together have combined to turn the Celtics defense into one that is as good as the best playoff defense I've ever seen, which is the 2019 Raptors defense, which just had unbelievable length and smarts and size all over the place. And the Celtics have the same thing. And you couple that with going up against a Nets team that doesn't, frankly, run a lot of stuff. They're basically going to come down and isolate and shoot jumpers. Katie and Kyrie, that's what they're going to do. You saw in game one, Kyrie made a ton of difficult shots, which when he does, he looks like the most spectacular offensive player you'll see. And then he'll have games like game two where he doesn't make anything and is sort of not involved in the game except for getting scored on defense. And then Kevin Durant, to me, looks like a guy that's from the moment he got back, what was it, 6 weeks ago, probably, he came back from this injury. He's been playing 40 minutes a night, every night for now 6 weeks. And he looks like a guy that is exhausted. And the combination of that minute load on him, and then to your point, Brian, going up against a Nets team that's got Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Derek White, even guys like Al Horford and Grant Williams who can switch out on a pinch onto Kevin Durant. The Celtics are just being physical with him. They're banging him all the time. They have the ability to stay right with him and in his airspace all the time. And it's just a combination that has made life incredibly difficult on those guys to score for every second they've been on the court. And that's only going to get harder because starting on Saturday, this is going to be an every other day series the rest of the way. And that, I think, is going to be an even bigger burden on this Nets team because those two guys have to go every second of every game, and they just don't have the same ensemble cast that the Celtics do around.
Last 11 games before you go, McMahon, just the last 11 games, Kyrie, 41 minutes a game, Durant, just a little under 40. I'm going to round up to 42 minutes a game.
Well, hey, Kyrie ought to have fresh legs. And it's really impressive that the Celtics have been able to play this level of defense against one of the most potent offensive teams when they lost one of the best defensive centers in the NBA. And by that, I'm referring, of course, to Enes Freedom. No, but It is absolutely insane that there was any kind of discussion about breaking up Tatum and Brown, because what does every team in the NBA want?
Long, athletic, two-way wing players.
Yes, young, dynamic, long, athletic, two-way wing players. And both of these dudes can shoot it, can put it on the floor, can guard. I mean, really, you could say they can do pretty much everything, except for I'm not sure I'm going to say Brown's much of a passer. Marcus Smart did kind of point that out earlier in the year. But Tatum in particular, like, he's not just one of the best young players in the league. He is legitimately one of the best all-around players in the league. And last night he didn't shoot, or Wednesday night, I guess, he didn't shoot the ball that great. But still, 2 straight games, this guy has straight up blocked a Kevin Durant jump shot. Like, defending him one-on-one, got up and got a Kevin Durant jump shot. That doesn't happen. Jayson Tatum is obviously one of the best scorers in the league. He's also one of the best wing defenders in the league. I mean, this is, he is absolutely made the, I don't know if it's necessarily a jump, but took that next step up to where he is a first team all NBA type of guy. And we've also talked about, like, the Celtics, there's no reason for these guys to be intimidated or scared of anything. Kyrie was on the roster, but he wasn't on the floor when these guys went to the East Finals, when they put a scare into LeBron's Cavs, took them to 7 games. Tatum and Brown are proven. Smart obviously is part of that. Al Horford, Al Horford caught a lob pass too. Speaking of and threw it down. Speaking of fresh legs, the Celtics might be, especially pending Chris Middleton's health concerns, they might be the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.